Greetings. Greetings, Banff Warriors. Greg is here. Where is here? One of my favorite places on planet Earth. Place I call Ojo Mystico. Doing life, living life, experience life to the fullest, and feeling like I have a message to share. Yeah, it's not always easy sharing some of the messages that come through me. It's not always easy because I know it's challenging. What I'm saying is challenging to me. I know it's challenging to those of you that are tuning in because it's very contrary to everything that we've learned, everything that we have programmed within ourselves, experienced in this world. It's like literally swimming upstream of, and not just like a gentle river. I'm talking about a roaring river, swimming upstream in the face of a roaring river. It feels like that sometimes because it would be so much easier to go with that rushing flow, which is just everyday life. The things that we've been doing, the things that feel normal to us, the things that feel easy for us, right? The things that feel just pleasurable, not so painful, not so challenging. And yet, here we are on a spiritual awakening path. Those of you that really tune in here, yes, you are being chosen to swim upstream, to go against the grain, to stand out from the crowd, not be just hiding in the crowd, going with the flow. And that's not easy. A lot of times you'll find yourself on this journey feeling very, very, very alone. Not easy. You'll feel very different. You'll be questioning yourself a lot. You'll be questioned by a lot of people, right? Sometimes to even have yourself feeling confused about life, confused about right or wrong, confused as to if what you're saying or what you're feeling or what you're experiencing is really just delusion. Anybody ever experienced that where you're just like, you know that you're doing something that's very different, but you know that there's something about it that it feels right. It appears to be right, that you are seeing, even if it's just the smallest of growth and positivity and hope and transformation, for you to be able to just stay the course versus what? Getting pulled back by the vacuum and the force of the masses. And a lot of times you're facing being challenged by people you love, people you care about, people that you're so familiar with, that you got lots of history with. And yet, when you're called, when you're chosen, and I'm talking about by God, by the Spirit, by the universe, right? It's very uncomfortable, not only for you, but for people around you, because they see that something's changing, right? Something's changing on the inside that you can't just see so fast. It's not like transformation isn't just like total, just like snap of the fingers. That transformation doesn't happen like that. It's gradual. It's like if any of you have ever had a garden or started a plant from germinating the seed, right? You don't just get flowers when you wake up in the morning. It takes a lot of time. And many times it's divine time. And yet you have to be a part of that. And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges along this path, along this journey, as I just saw 444, is trusting the divine timing of it all. Trusting that there is a means to the ends, that the efforts and the things you're doing will gradually start to string together the wins so that when you do look back, you can truly feel like there has been growth. There has been transformation. You have had success. It's all not for lost. It's not a waste of your time disconnecting from the usual, the patterns, the things that leave you empty. How many of you spend a vast amount of time, especially what you would consider your free time, investing in things that literally give you nothing in return? Maybe a little high, maybe a little low, but usually at the end, it's just time passed, which is really time lost if the time was so worthless to you that you didn't feel inspired to invest your time in something that gave you a return on your investment. And I believe that that's a big shift that's happening in the hearts, in the minds, in the souls, in the bodies of many, 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 many millions upon millions of people on this earth right now, is we are waking up from the delusion, from the distractions of this world that tell us to just relax, Netflix and chill, right? Watch this spectacle, watch that spectacle. And yet when we look back on our life, we're like, we got nothing to show for it, right? Their wins are not your wins. Their paycheck from entertaining you for countless hours is not your paycheck. It don't even compare. And it's not just about paychecks. It's truly about having a sense of fulfillment inside of you, feeling that the things you're doing are bringing a return. That when you're watching and consuming content such as this, that it's not just here for entertainment purposes, so you can get a laugh, so you can get a kick, so you can, sort of be distracted for an hour of your own existence. This here is meant to shine a light on you, meant to put a mirror in front of you so that you can truly see what's the most important thing in your life and what truly matters. And if you are looking for that right now, what really matters? If I was to go back 13 years ago, before I got sober, right, what really mattered was getting drunk, watching sports, getting high, right? Living for the weekend, maybe going outdoors every once in a while, but even then, it's like getting drunk, going outdoors, right? And I definitely paid the price for that. And so when you fast forward 13 years into the future, which is now, having chosen for nearly 13 years to wake up sober, to wake up with intention, to wake up to say, how can I be a better version of me today than I was yesterday? And then I have to go back and look, what did I do yesterday that I can improve? What did I do yesterday that I did good that I want to duplicate today? What are the things that I did yesterday that would no longer bring me joy today? Right? How can I best utilize the time that I do have? And I think that's what many people are starting to awaken to. That a message like this is starting to really catch more and more popularity every single day, because I think we are getting to a place where we're just, everywhere you look, it's chaos. If that's what you see. Is everywhere you're looking right now chaotic, divided, uncertain, opposing one another, just these forces just like clashing, right? Uncertain, What are you seeing in this world? Because what you see in this world is actually a reflection of what's going on within you. And so as I sit here and share this message with you, sure, I see all these things. I got asked a question like, you know, when I talk about life and I talk about our souls and I talk about how we're all equal at the soul level, right? It's only when we look at the government issued version of ourselves, the character that we're playing, that we see division, that we see lack, or we see abundance in somebody else. We see someone else better. We see us as worse. We see someone else struggling, and we compare and contrast with our eyes. The eyes are very deceptive. When we see at the soul level, it's all equality. It doesn't matter if you're the most powerful person on the planet or the newest born person on the planet. At the soul level, it's equal. And a lot of people have a hard time really reconciling that within, because again, these systems and the program that we're living can be so powerful to really disconnect us from ourselves. It feels like that's the whole thing, is the program is truly meant to disconnect you from yourself, and you as a soul, me as a soul, our purpose is to reconnect with our true self by disconnecting from all the distractions, from all the charades, from all the shiny things, and to truly figure out who you truly are. There's no wasting of time. And if you feel like you're wasting your time, and many people do, many people feel like their lives don't matter. And that's because your measure of having meaning to this life is what you either are or aren't accomplishing. You feel like you need to accomplish things in order to have worth. And it's like, that's not it. The accomplishments is not it. The truest understanding of it is being. It's being. We're called human beings. Human beings. That means to be. Literally, it's the simplicity of, you woke up this morning, life was breathed into you, and yet 186,000 people on this planet did not wake up today. Why? For 1,000 different reasons. Not just because they're old, not just because they're unhealthy. Those things matter. But there's 1,000 different things that want to take you out each and every day. And yet to just even value life, to just sit and value life. No doing, no striving, no controlling, no struggling, no efforts exerted, but just to be. To be one with yourself, to find the oneness in all creation. I see you, you see me, we are one. Can you imagine that? If you can start wrapping your head around that type of philosophy, I see you, you see me, we are one. You're just a different version of me, but we're all one. There's a connectivity to it, energetic, conscientiousness. You got to ask yourself, there's so much evidence for this, but yet we act as if it's just, this is just modern society, all this stuff. And it's like, think about it. Naked earth, right? Naked people, naked earth, no cell phones, no buildings, no cars, no roads, no clothes. Where the hell did all these ideas come from for all this stuff? Did someone find a book that said, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that, and now you have a smartphone, do this, do that? Like, are we like given these secret things, like little booklets that show us how to create these things? Or is it literally within the conscientious, which it's like you are given inspiration, but if you're so delusional because you're lost within yourself, you're actually disconnected from yourself, you're living outside of your body because you're so focused on the world, you're so distracted that you feel like, yeah, you're wasting your fucking time. When if you were truly tuned into yourself, tuned into who you truly are, guess what? You would start to tap into that divine creativity that has given people every single thing to like. You don't just find these in the desert, just with erosion and wind and water, and you just don't find a smartphone. No, someone was given that vision, that download from where? The conscientiousness that we're all connected. Right? This lighter, right? The phone, the speakers, this hat, everything. There's nothing that hasn't been created through the mind of a human. And even animals show this with their designs in terms of like their basic needs is like building their homes, building a nest. And yet, where do they get that from? It comes from the conscientiousness that connects us all. But humans are the only ones that can truly perceive the future and hold on to the past. Wild animals out there, their only focus is now. They're not thinking about what happened last week, last year. They're not worried about what's going on tomorrow. They're living in the now, which is to meet their basic needs, right? Very rarely do you see animals that are overweight. They know exactly how much food they need to consume for that day. They don't worry about, oh, wait, well, if the season, I mean, some animals have it programmed if they're hibernation or whatever, but most animals live for the day. They get enough food, they get enough water, they get enough sleep, and they do it again. And in that, there's some creativity. Obviously, there's connectivity. But yet, humans, we're the ones, right? We got this next level of conscientiousness, of intelligence that gives us the ability to perceive the past and the future. And yet, how many people are living depressed lives because of that? Because you're still holding on to the things that happened in the past. Some of those things you've totally forgotten about. Some of those things you think they're so far away, they're so far gone that how can that still be impacting me? Of course it is. If you never really dealt with it, if you never truly faced it, if you truly never allowed for it to be, to process, to be an experience, to be a lesson. That's really what these things are for. Everything. When you look back on your life, when you finally have the strength to look in the mirror, look within, and look back at everything that you've been through, guess what? You're going to see patterns. And when you see patterns, that's an indicator that that is part of what your soul needs to learn in this moment, right here, right now, in order to advance, in order to evolve, in order to transcend the suffering, not only from this lifetime. This is the wild thing. Some of y'all are struggling because you guys are carrying around soul level wounds from past lives. And if that goes right over your head and you're just not down with that, like, so be it. I am experiencing things that absolutely indicate without a shadow of a doubt in my own life that I am absolutely healing wounds from many, many, many lifetimes ago. And I believe that if I am seeing this come up in me, guess what? Those of you that are listening, those of you that are tuned into this type of content, this level of message, y'all are on the same path. And it's a spiritual path. It truly is a spiritual path, which spiritual, a lot of people think is religious. It's not a religious path. This is an energetic path. It's energy. Your soul is energy. It's not religious path. When I say spiritual, it's not religious. Religious is like a box, and our souls are literally abundant, man. We are limitless, without containment. And even when you truly get so tuned into who you are, you feel your energetic field, it goes beyond your body. And I can show you this just through breath work, that you can start to vibrate in a way that literally goes beyond your body. So even in that, we're not contained. But many people, if you're so you've I believe one of the biggest things that we need to figure out, the awakening, is to realize who your true and authentic self is. You are a soul, first and foremost, and you're having a human experience. You're listening to my voice, but it's one soul speaking to another soul. I happen to be this body, you happen to be yours. But yet, here's the thing. These bodies are they're disposable. Think about how disposable these bodies are. We are so, as humans, we're so fragile. The human being is so fragile. These are disposable bodies. And I can tell you that in some of the really heavy duty, I mean, I've been on an absolute committed path of doing daily breath work exercises that has taken me to depths that I haven't experienced in the 13 years other like than what I'm experiencing in the past month. And I know that this is a big part of my healing journey, which ultimately is going to help me to help others and facilitate healing in many, 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 many others. And yet, if you can awaken to the fact that this is not a one and done life. And the thing that's come up for me so much is that as a soul, throughout many lives that I've lived, man, I get really deep into the human experience, really deep. And that goes to the point of today's message, is because I've gotten so deep into the experience as a human that the sense of death throughout my lives plural, very, very, very plural lives, has given me so much loss. Some of those deaths were very traumatic, were very violent, and I was filled with terror. I've experienced this. I'm literally re-bringing up this energy inside of myself. And it's a sense of loss, because what I'm seeing in the pattern of this lifetime condensed, right, throughout this lifetime, the thing that keeps coming up for me, and that's what I'm trying to point y'all back to with the flashlight, right? I'm trying to shine a light to say, if you start doing the self-discovery work, it's going to become more and more and more obvious to you the patterns of your life. That there are absolute patterns that you've experienced. Things that keep coming up and up and up. And a lot of times you realize this because it's stuff you can't shake. You keep playing things over and over and over in your mind. And this is what I'm realizing about myself, is I've experienced so much loss in this life. Like, not only the loss of things, I mean, I've lost everything. I've lost, I mean, people I love. I mean, you're talking about material things, businesses, different identities. right? This life has been so consolidated that it feels like multiple lives, right? I've had so many real thick chapters of like versions of myself. And it's like now I'm going into this whole nother version of myself. And I'm realizing that the most painful thing, which is something that I need to heal, is the loss, is feeling a sense of loss. That's a pattern I see, that when I lose somebody, man, it's so hard for me to let go. There's an attachment there. And sometimes it's not even some things, it's things too. It's not just people. I have like grieved things that I have lost, businesses that I have lost, homes that I've lost, versions of myself that I lost. And by a version, I'm talking about, the time when I ended my military career, or I stopped being a business owner because the economy fell off the cliff and I literally lost everything materially in 2008 and 2009. And yet I'm sitting here along this spiritual path, this awakening, realizing that I need to be able to to learn the lesson of loss and allow for that lesson of loss to be turned into a statement of love. And yes, I send love to the things and the people that I've lost. Some are still alive. But the way that I'm learning to transmute, alchemize loss into love is by realizing that, look at your body. Is there anybody attached? Is there anybody attached to you? If there is, there's some Siamese twins out there, but right now, most of us listening right now, I don't got nobody attached to me. So then the attachment is what? It's invisible because I'm feeling like, boom, I have to keep thinking and thinking. And the wild thing is that this shows that you're connected. Have you ever thought about somebody and next thing you know, they call you or they text you, they reach out, right? It's because there's a connection there. And I believe this is we're actually moving deeper and deeper into the age of intuition. We're leaving the age of information. The age of information is where we needed to know everything. And as we have information overload, it's now time to really start to connect with the true and authentic version of who we are, our real self, this spiritual being. And the purpose of this spiritual being on this planet, from my point of view, from my belief, is for us to die to the physical person that we think we are, that's carrying around all the guilt, all the shame, that's literally thinking that you're clinging to this life. You're carrying around all this regret and sadness and anger and fear and doubt and shame and guilt and grief and pride and apathy. It's so obvious. Everyone's carrying around so much of this suffering, which is the lower self. It's the physical self, which is not your true self. And in that, we get lost for lifetimes. We literally get lost for lifetimes as to who we truly are, because we keep playing out these characters. And it feels so real, man. It feels so real. But there's something else that exists, and it's unseen. It's within. It's the energy. It's the spirit. It's what's eternal. And there's a lot of fear in that, right? There's a lot of fear in saying that, man, like, wait, I can touch all this stuff and see all this stuff. So I need to depend on the stuff. I need to depend on the news. I need to depend on the politics, and I need to depend on that I'm not supposed to like this person, and I'm supposed to love that person, and I'm supposed to hate this person and be against this person and support that person. And it's like, what? None of that matters. None of it matters. What matters is you connecting with you. That for you to truly realize that there's nothing you need to do. That if you could get so still, so quiet, so connected with yourself, which can happen through breath work, through meditation, really just setting sacred time to really be present with you, your thoughts, your energy, your body. No distractions. The mind is going to want to keep tick, 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 tick. And yet, even then, you have to continue putting it on rest. And when you do that, there's a power inside of you. There's an energy inside of you that literally melts away the sadness, that melts away the anger, that melts away the fear, that melts away the doubt, that melts away the grief, that melts away the shame. Right? It all goes away. You literally become conscientiousness, which then you feel connected. You feel supported. You feel seen. You feel like, oh, wait, there's something else here. And yet, yes, we need to live our lives fully immersed in the humanity, but where you really start to grow and expand is when you can literally hold both your humanity and your spirituality, right? Within the context of how you show up in this life. So I see 11:11 here, Mountain Standard Time. To truly be able to hold that every single person on this planet is an expression of love. And yet, there is such a thing as dark energy. There is such a thing as light energy. And we want to create them as one thing is good and the other thing is bad. And neither is true. There just is. It gives us the opportunity to initiate lessons that we need to learn to transcend the suffering. Because if this planet was just nothing but kumbaya, utopia, right? Which is possible. Like we literally can transcend the suffering. And maybe that's where we're headed right now. Is to a higher place where we truly are feeling oneness with all things, not just ourselves, but all living creatures, plants, everything that's living. Maybe that's where we're going. Maybe we're headed to a place that we've yet to experience because everything has been so divisive. You have to be guarded. You have to defend. You have to protect. You have to, be on the lookout because, there's bad people out there. There's evil around every corner. And, every time that we experience something that causes us pain, fear, terror, sadness, grief, we what? We guard ourselves. We close ourselves off. We become a lot more defended and we feel less safe. And thus, many people are literally, the sad thing about playing life safe, hiding, playing small, staying behind the closed doors, being trying to pretend like you're invisible, like, I don't want anything bad. Right? Then you really aren't avoiding anything. All you're doing is causing yourself more suffering, more sadness, because that's what you're focused on. And you get to choose that. We all get to choose what our experience is here. And that's the beautiful thing. It's like, if you know people that are so afraid of everything happening in this world, guess what? There's like those people, like they get to have that reality. Like, keep doing that. Like, you go ahead and be afraid of everything. I'm not going to sit there and argue with somebody that wants to be afraid of everything, wants to hate certain people and think they're bad and think they're going to hurt them or think they are hurting them emotionally when they're really not going in their house and doing bad things to them physically. It's just psychologically. They're being hurt, which is also manipulation, which is the source of that's the difference between the dark energy and the light energy, right? I don't like to call it good and evil. I think they both serve, right? It's perfect balance. Day and night, night and day, right? Light and darkness. The thing about darkness is where a lot of people will get caught up on it, they'll want to say it's evil. And they'll also only externalize it. They'll see the evil in this world. So if you're someone that is looking out there and you're looking and you're observing somebody, maybe some kind of a political figure or some sort of celebrity, and if you are judging that person and seeing the darkness of them, what they're doing, and you're like, man, that's terrible, this person's horrible, I can't believe this. The more that you're fixated on that, guess what? It's because it's a reflection of what's going on inside of you. And that's what messes most people up the most. Because inherently we only want to see ourselves in the light. And yet every single one of us has a measure of darkness, which is a master manipulator. It's a deceiver. And it's also capable of doing the worst, most heinous things. And yes, it exists inside of you. Oh, no, it doesn't. I'm so beautiful. I'm so good. I go to church every day. It's like, that don't matter. That doesn't mean you're going to do the worst things every single day. It's just, is it in you? And because it's a master manipulator, a lot of times if you're tapping into your thoughts, right, you're trying to connect. If you're someone that has trouble trusting your own intuition, the reason for that is probably because at some point of your life, either this life or past lives, when you were at a place of being desperate, terrorized, filled with agony, loneliness, just like total helplessness, right? It's in those moments that we are most welcoming for the dark energy to grow and expand, because the dark energy seems to want to give us like a blanket, a cloak, that it can somehow keep us safe, that it can somehow hide us from ever having to experience those things again. And yet it's a part of who we are. And so a lot of times you'll hear about doing the shadow work. And I know that that was one of the biggest breakthroughs along my healing journey, was doing the shadow work exercise, which was going down a list. Let me see if I have this here. I think I do. I'll share this with you guys. And you can do this just with your own piece of paper. But right here, I did this exercise just with a notebook. And I started writing down on the left side all my ego strokes. I mean, I was such a broken dude. I was like coming out of a divorce, 21 years, and needing to pick myself up and rebuild my self-confidence and my self-esteem, that I started going down the list and giving myself ego stroke. I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm handsome, I'm intelligent, I'm creative, right? I'm playful, I'm funny, just doing all these like ego strokes. And then I had an epiphany halfway through the light side of who I was, right? As I'm asking myself, who am I? And I said, you know what? If I'm going to account for the light, for some reason, I felt like I needed to account for the darkness. And so I started writing down all the nasty shit about me. I'm a liar. I'm a deceiver. I'm a cheater. I'm a thief. And it's like, when a lot of people are so afraid to actually face that part of themselves. We're afraid because it's like we're kind of there's a sense of guilt and shame about like that we could do things that are not that good. We're liars, we're thieves, we're manipulators. You can even be murderous, and maybe you didn't like stab somebody or shoot somebody in the head, but you can obviously have like murderous thoughts wishing someone was dead. What's the difference? Energetically, if that's where you're at. And so I started writing down without editing, because I'm someone that when I look back on my life, I know that I used to be a major manipulator, and I learned how to manipulate. I learned how to lie because I didn't like getting in trouble. I didn't like being held accountable, right? I didn't like being punished. And so I programmed myself through survival to be a master manipulator, a liar, a deceiver. And guess who I deceive more than anyone else? Myself. And if you're connecting with this, you're deceiving yourself, but you're not deceiving yourself by yourself. There's dark energy inside of you that continues to whisper in your ear. Some people want to call it the devil. Some people want to call it demons and all this other shit. It's literally just a mask as to who you are, because you want to feel safe. The same way that you want to escape pain and you're willing to do drugs or alcohol or food or anything that can get you out of pain and put you into a state of pleasure, even if it's temporary and even if it has long-term consequences, you're not going to evaluate the long-term consequences. You only want to be in the now, saying, I'm in pain now, and if I can get out by doing X, boom, give it to me. And it's the same thing here, where the dark energy says, I can put a mask on it. I can put a cloak on it. I can hide that so that you don't have to worry about it. And yet it's a master manipulator. And yet it also doesn't, it feeds on us. And the beautiful thing is that when you go along this journey and you realize that you would much rather prefer to be integrated with the light. Because here's what happened. I flesh out these two lists, you guys, and I'm telling you, try this exercise. Just write a piece of paper, light, dark. When I fleshed out, and it took me a few days, right? I just kept adding things that would come up, and I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't embarrassed. Part of my mind wanted to say, don't write that. Don't write that bad thing on there. You're not one of those. And it's like, yeah, I can be that. We can all be the worst. Y'all, until you realize that you can truly be the absolute worst person on this planet. Yes, you and everyone around you is capable of doing the absolute worst things, right? All it takes is the right environment, the right circumstances to activate survival mode to where good people become really fucked up. And we all have that in us. But yet, how many people live in denial? I know I used to. I know I've dealt with people, right? Beautiful people that I would be saying, hey, you're acting this way. I'm not acting that way. You're a fucking that thing. And it's like, whoa, okay. And it's why? Because we're afraid. We're afraid of who we truly are. But here's the thing. Once I fleshed out these two lists, guess what? They were equal. They were equal. There was just as much dark as there was light. And here's the powerful thing, you guys. From this point forward, when I did this, the most powerful thing, when I finished out these two lists, you want to know what happened next? It was like energetically, right? The shadow version of myself. I like to call him the beast, right? G-Dog, like, the bad boy, right? It was like, because I finally was honest with myself, looking in the mirror, really like saying, here's who I am, here's who I've been. Doesn't mean I'm being that right now. Doesn't mean I'm lying right now, but I have been it. It's an accountability of my existence. That once I finally just fucking put all the cards face up on the deck for myself, not fearing someone else checking my paper or, reading over it and saying, see, I told you. No, It's not that. This was me having a conversation with me saying, I'm going to put all the cards up. Who am I? And when I did that, guess what? The darkness faded away. And that version of me transmuted itself because I was no longer in denial of that version of myself. There was no longer guilt and shame about that part of myself. And because I could fully see myself for who I was, totality, light and dark, I was able to transmute that dark energy into positive energy. Because see, dark energy is something that if there's a predator, right, getting ready to attack you and people you love, right? Light energy is not going to just sit there and be like, oh, don't come and attack me. No, you need the dark energy. That's that strength. That's that like power to protect. And that's where the energy got transmuted. Because I was no longer ashamed of this force within me. I could now integrate it into the light and use it for a force of good versus harming myself and harming others. A lot of your suffering, a lot of the things you're experiencing is because you're in denial of the full picture of who you are. You're only wanting to see the light. You're like, don't show me the other side. Because the other side, the other side is all the things that you're ashamed of, is all the times that you've messed up, is all the failures, is all the nasty side of who you are. It's the mean, it's the nasty, it's the wounded version of you, expressing those wounds. And in doing it, that's not a pretty person. It's not a nice person. It's a shitty fucking person. But when you shine the light and take an inventory on who that person is, it's like, man, all this weight comes off of you because you don't have to be in denial. You can fully accept yourself. And once you fully accept yourself, guess what? That's when you can start loving yourself. That's when you can start caring for yourself like never before. Because you're no longer living divided. You can say, it's like, I have made a vow to myself. I will not lie. And it's from these points of saying, man, like, I created that out of fear of punishment. Came from an early age, right? The first time I started getting in trouble for stuff and feeling like something was wrong with me, or like, I'm a bad kid. I'm like, no, I'm gonna lie about it. No, I didn't do that. No, I wasn't me. I didn't eat all the chocolate chip cookies with chocolate all over my face. It wasn't me. It's like, and it takes courage. And again, that goes back to the vibrational chart. This is like, to me, the coolest thing is the vibrational chart. If you're really like understanding what's going on here, because in that vibrational chart, it literally just shows you, like, it shows you where most of us are, right? Where is this guy? It shows us where we all are until we start working on stuff. Contracted, this is all suffering. You just look at this chart. I mean, this is literally where people find themselves. This isn't just like a pretty, like, rainbow colored chart. This is literally the roadmap to where you're at. This is you, right? And it's not to mean that you haven't had moments of peace and joy and love and acceptance and willingness and neutrality and some courage. But most people find themselves down here. And the reason for that is because you've been wounded. We're carrying around emotional wounds, unhealed trauma, unforgiveness. We're holding on to things that have happened in the past. And the deeper we hold on to these things, the more that we like, it's an energy. If you could just imagine my hand, like in your body, you have 7 energetic centers called chakras, right? You have a root chakra, a sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye chakra, and the crown chakra. And it's like the more pain you've been through, you could just imagine it's like where the flesh and the spirit meet energetically. You're literally like blocking off the flow of energy through your body because you're holding on to your experience of this life. And once you're ready to release all that, which it takes, part of that list I just showed you, doing an inventory, right? The other list to write down is everyone that's ever hurt you. Everyone that's ever hurt you. Usually it starts with mom and dad. You just put them on the list by default because you spend enough time with them that they caused you some pain. And it's not a good or bad thing. It's just a part of the experience. But every time you experience pain, especially 0 to 10, that causes a negative contraction. This is why that word contracted matters so much down there. Because think about it. Think about this. Contracted and expanded on this chart. What that means is the state of your heart, the state of your energy. You're either a contracted, just picture your heart. Every time you get hurt, when you come to this earth, if your heart's open like a butterfly, every time you get hurt, it closes, it closes, it closes, it closes, it closes, it closes, it closes until you're so guarded, you're so hurt, you're so contracted by the experiences of this earth. And the thing is that when you finally hit this awakening moment, this epiphany as to like, wait, what? It's not really about this earth. It's not really about this lifetime. I'm a soul, not just this fucking human that's lived through all of this painful experience. That you can then, it takes courage. The 2 most important pieces here is 1, it takes courage because you have to be forgiving. You have to be honest with yourself to account for the darkness in you. You have to be courageous to do that. You have to be courageous to forgive people that have caused you pain. I literally know women that have been raped that can send their lovers. That can send rapists, not their lovers, rapists, right? Love. We've all seen it. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen a courtroom where a family addresses a murder of one of their beloved family members and they say, "We forgive you." The most heinous crimes, to be able to forgive, it takes courage, but it also takes neutrality. That's the next important thing. You cannot bring your limiting beliefs, your fears, your uncertainty, your doubts with you. You can't bring it with you. You have to let it go. And that's why these 2 right here, once you can go over those, man, it almost feels like a downhill. Because those 2 things, the mountain of courage is so huge. And then to be able to, like, when you get to the top of courage, all you see is an abyss and you have to literally jump off and let go of everything. Neutral. And as you do that, you start to expand. Your heart reopens. Your energies reopen. This is absolutely 100% the picture of what I am talking to every single one of you about. This is the process. This is the journey. This is the whole purpose. But yet some of y'all go, well, I got work tomorrow. I got bills to pay. I got XYZ. It's like, yeah, that's fine. The real purpose is When you go to work, how do you feel? Are you really doing what you love? Because the thing is that I guarantee you that if you start to heal, you start to let go of your past, you start to really get to your truth, that a lot of you, this is a part of courage, a lot of you are going to realize you're living a lie. You're living someone else's life. You're living what someone else wanted for you. And when you start to heal yourself and to take accountability and let go of all these past wounds, you free yourself up to be like, you know what? I know who I am. I know what I want. And all these people are going to say, oh, no, you can't do that. We didn't give you permission. You'd be like, see you later, alligators. Adios. Adios, man. Peace. Peace. I'll see you later, man. And it's sad. It's kind of sad. It is sad. But wait, there has to be a trust that for you to sacrifice your purpose on this planet for someone else's comfort, complacency is absolute soul level spiritual suicide. Way worse than physical. Spiritual suicide, living your life for someone else. Oh man, that's terrible. So painful. And some of y'all know that because you're doing it and you continue doing it, living someone else for someone else. And the truest flex is to be free, to set yourself free. Because in setting yourself free, you set others free. I know something I ask a lot of people. I say, if you had one of two choices, right? Comment down below, one or two choices. You could save 1 million children from abuse. If you had one of two choices, save 1 million children from abuse, or you become the highest version of yourself, what would you choose? How many are you going to save the children? Right? That seems so benevolent, sacrificial, right? Humanitarian. But here's the thing. You know how selfish that'd be? Because here's the thing. They're not just children, they're souls. We're souls. We got to stop seeing people as old people, white people, black people, dark people, this people, those people, these guys, those guys, these women, those. It's not that. We're souls. Their souls it's like going to a restaurant. Before you come to this planet, it's like you order what you want, what you need to receive throughout this life. You order it. You choose it. Can you wrap your head around that? Can you wrap your soul around that? That you chose your experiences and they weren't, and even though they were terrible and painful at the physical 3-dimensional suffering, right here, the suffering contracted, you need to experience that in order to find the spiritual soul level courage to let go of it all. And so the 1 million children that need to face abuse, it's like, yeah, at the physical level, you're like, this is terrible. But these bodies, we have to realize these bodies, I mean, these things are so disposable. They're more disposable than half the shit you buy in big box stores or in Amazon nowadays. Everything's disposable. Guess what else is? This body is disposable. It's here one day, gone the next. And if you think that if you don't figure it out, that somehow you're going to burn in a frying pan for the rest of your fucking life, for the rest of eternity, I'm not down with that. Because some of y'all are burning right now by literally holding yourself back from taking those leaps of faith, from truly awakening to what it is you're put here on this planet for, which is to become the highest version of yourself. Because in becoming the highest version of yourself, you increase the vibration of the planet, and it's just like it's wildfire, right? And that's what we're going through right now. There's a great awakening happening. Right? People are awakening. All the things we're running to, they're not fulfilling us. That we're now searching for another message. It's like watching TV. You're bored. You click, 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 and you finally find something that's so different. You're like, this is different. This is speaking of, man, I'm really, wow. I'm not just watching this for entertainment. I'm being fed right now. I'm like, there's something really incredible happening, and I don't even understand what it is, but I'm feeling drawn into it, that somehow it's making sense, and somehow I'm looking in the mirror. And if you're looking for resources, man, get on the app. Results kill excuses. Type those 3 magic words into your app store, and you can start doing some self-discovery work. If you're someone that wants to start, needs some accountability in your life, reach out, right? I have space for a few more clients, one-on-one, one-on-one. With this guy, one-on-one. Man, we're seeing some major breakthroughs right now. Because again, we're not just doing this forever, right? It's not like you don't just keep doing things and doing things and doing things, and like that. That's totally contrary to the results kill excuses mindset, way of life. You got to stack the results. You got to have the wins. I'm not here to like just keep you hooked on something forever, right? There is a method to this. There is systems to this. And it's literally waking up to the point where you're done. You're sick and tired of the self-sabotage, the self-destruct. And the first step is self-discovery. That sheet I showed you earlier, who am I? That's where I started. Who am I? I started asking myself that question, man. Who am I? Because I had hit that rock bottom, man. I had to figure out who the hell I was. And that's self-discovery. You think you know who you are. I guarantee you don't know who you are. And the reason why you don't know who you are is because you're thinking you're the government issue ID that's had failures, that's had heartbreak, that's had trauma, that's had a few wins, but you dwell on the losses and the loss way, way, way more than the wins. And that's not who you are. When you start to identify with your true and authentic self, then we're getting somewhere. And that's how you go from self-sabotaging person, self-discovery, all the way into self-mastery. And self-mastery is just truly aligning yourself with your true and authentic self, having self-awareness, being emotionally fluid, being able to truly understand that I see you, you see me, we're one. We're all expressions of love. I don't see people with judgment. I don't look at this person or that person and say, this one's good, that one's bad. That doesn't even come up on my radar. I just realized that there is a grand harmony to everything, all the chaos, all the bliss. I mean, it's just where you put your focus is what your reality is. And I spend way more time focused on elevating myself, healing myself. And it's like the thing I've untapped that I've opened up recently is I'm not just healing from myself from this lifetime, it's multiple lifetimes. And it's incredible. I wouldn't be on here if it wasn't that powerful to truly understand what real healing is, what real breakthrough is. And that means that my life still has challenges, but every day I get a little better. I get a little stronger, more resilient, more centered on myself, more connected with the divine. That even a day like today, I could be sitting here saying, what is the pattern in my life? Okay, the pattern that I keep having come up is, man, I get so hung up on the losses. Well, I need to turn the losses into love. I need to make loss be the lesson, and the lesson is to love, to fill the loss with love. And the love isn't from outside. That's the kicker. The love is from within. We don't feel like we're the absolute essence of love. And we are. Love is the most powerful, man. It's powerful. Love. To send love, to send love to your enemies, send love to people that have broke your heart, send love to people that have hurt you, to send love to people that have caused you pain, have ripped you off, have fired you, have abandoned you, have left you for dead. I've sent love to every single category that I just said, and many, many, many people in there. People that have betrayed me, I send them like real unconditional love, man. Like I want those people to win. I send them love. I send them joy. I send them peace. I send them prosperity. When we send people that hurt us, what? Anger, hatred, act as if I just got a strong cutoff game and somehow you're good. It's like, no, you're not. You're blocked. You are literally restricting your own life force energy from progressing. And that's why so many of you feel stuck, which you're not stuck. You're going round and round, which is down and down and down and down and down. And all you have to do is shift the polarity from dark energy to light. Because light is love. It's neutral. There's no judgments, man. There's no judgments. And when the judgment pops up, boom, I check it quick. I don't want to judge people. I don't need to judge people. Right? Send them love. I start looking at somebody with some judgment, or like in the past, I used to really carry around a spirit of irritation. Anybody get real irritable about things? Man, I used to do that. And what is irritation about? It's about you wanting to control everything. Why would you want to control everything? Because at some point in your life, you felt powerless. And usually it was when you were a little kid. You felt powerless. So now you're an adult and you're like, I got to control all this shit. And what you realize is the more you control, the more you struggle. We are so afraid to be. And that's really a big shift that even me, I'm having to reprogram, right? Is to the grind, the hustle and grind, the hustle and grind. Like I'm still figuring that shit out. That's where I'm like, just total transparency. I'm figuring this stuff out too. Because I know no one's going to lift the weights for me. No one's going to eat the healthy food for me. No one's going to go for the walks. No one's going to record the videos. I know I still have to do things, but I want to do things in alignment with my highest good. I want to do things that are in alignment with who I truly am and what truly brings life from me and to other people. Not just doing things because if I work out, then I'm going to get a bunch of compliments when I go to the beach or the river or fucking lake or whatever, If it's for that reason, that's not it. I lift because one, I value and care about my body, this vessel, and I want to stay active from here on out the rest of my life. When I see people out there hiking and exercising in their 70s and 80s, I'm like, man, I got a lot of work. I got a lot to prove to myself to really take care of this beautiful gift that we've been given. It's a gift that you have a human body, that you're not an ant or a slug. But most of us can act like slugs, just sitting there acting like, oh, I guess the only thing I got to do today is just kick back and veg out and fucking waste my life away. It's like, dude, what? Get outside, go outside and play. That's a direct order. Get your ass outside and go play today. Too serious. People need to lighten up. Turn off the tubes, turn off the socials, the internet, man. Just go outside and go play like you were a kid. Go ride a bike, go run, go for a hike, go have a picnic out in the grass. I mean, just whatever, go play. Instead of sitting around all miserable, acting as if like, I was there. I can't do that to myself anymore. And I hope that you will stop doing that to yourself. There's a lot of changes happening right now on my end of things. And I really do appreciate everyone that's been a part of this journey here thus far. Results kill excuses. It means the world to me. Those of you that like the messages, share the messages. Those of you that have purchased merchandise, whether it's the hats, the journals, downloaded the app, doing the work. There's a lot that's coming that's going to be new. I mean, when you really start to buy in to 1% better every single day, you evolve, you change, you grow. And the cool thing is that a lot of people, when you're not in that state of growing and that growth mindset, you're in a fixed mindset. This is as good as it gets. And you're just kind of a poopy pants and pity party. And I've been there, right? You're stagnant. You're literally sidelined. And it's a pretty shitty place to be. And I've been there. But the thing is that because I literally am living this life. Like, this ain't just talk. I'm not just here to just entertain you and, give you some excitement. I'm here to challenge you because I'm here to challenge myself. That I'm evolving, I'm growing, man. There's some really major things happening right now. Major purges. Purge. I've been talking a lot about the purge. I've been clearing out a storage that I've been paying on for a few years now. And it's like, I'm going to double down. I've given myself 1 month to be vacated out of that, to let all that go. And the crazy thing is that when I kind of walk around that storage has contents in there that represent several lives, right? Several different lives. And none of those lives, those like memories and things from old, right? From the past, none of those things they don't represent who I am right now. And that's why it makes the most sense to release it, to let it go. And again, we're in the year of the snake. This is the great opportunity for you to shed that skin of old, shed that old identity. I mean, even if you got to change your doggone name, man, like whatever you got to do to feel like you can be something that is going to rock people's world. That's where I'm going, you guys. People are going to look at me and be like, dude, they're like people that want to know me from this phase of my life or that phase of my life or this phase of my life. It's not going to compute with who I am right now. And you have the same freedom and opportunity to do the exact same thing, to be free, to be who you want to be the truest version of yourself. You can be the fakest version of yourself. And a lot of you, that comes naturally. That feels actually pretty good, being fake. But when you're ready to start dumping out all those masks and get rid of all the bullshit, really looking in the mirror, you will be so free. And you will realize, looking back, man, I don't understand why I was so hesitant, why I was so afraid, why I held myself back for so long in fear of thinking that, things were going to happen. And it's like, man, you feel free to be the true version of yourself, no matter what other people are saying. And people are going to say things, but that's you living outside of your body. That's literally you living outside of yourself. And many people, you'll go your whole life always worried about what other people are going to say about it, about the things you think, the things you're wanting, the thing that you think you could be, and you won't do it. The beautiful thing is you come back next life and maybe you're a little bit stronger. Maybe you're given a little more confidence, a little more courage, because this work is everything. And I do believe that many of you listening to this message, this is the time. Now is the time that you're going to truly start to take these leaps of faith, trusting. This takes faith. And faith is I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about you truly believing that when you jump, there's going to be a safety net. The parachute will deploy. You are supported. And maybe you're not supported by people around you currently, but you're going to be supported by the entirety of this universe. And that can be very scary. That's the faith. That's the faith that it takes. It's not religion. That's faith, though, to say, you know what, I am supported. That if I take this leap, if I let go of these things I'm holding on to that are expired, that no longer, they're weighing me down, they're holding me back, it's beating me down. Let me let go of this stuff and open up my heart again. Let me truly prove to myself that I'm safe, that I am hard to kill, that I'm not gonna, even though my body is disposable, there's a purpose out here. And by me facing my fears, you facing your fears, guess what? That's where the magic happens. That's where the growth happens. That's where you truly become your true and authentic self, is to face the things you fear. And many of us are avoiding that. Why? Because it takes courage, because we're afraid. We've been told it's dragons and demons in there. The demons. Got to deal with my demons. And it's like, man, you just got to face yourself. Light, dark. Write a list of everyone that's ever hurt you. And guess what? Uh-oh. This is the one that you won't like. Then you got to write a list of everyone that you've hurt. Oh, wait, I haven't hurt anybody. Everybody's hurt me. No, that's not true. Right. One guilty person plus another guilty person equals two people that need to be forgiven. Never forget that. You are guilty. They are guilty. We've all hurt somebody. And if you're honest with yourself, you've hurt a lot of people, especially if you've been really hurt by others. You have leaked out times where you were unkind, unloving, and really mean to people. And that is something to be accountable for. And the only way you're going to see that is by getting honest with yourself, shining some light in your darkness to realize that, yeah, you have been pretty bad. And that it's, we're so afraid. We have this story that if we literally are in denial of our own selves, that if you admit that you did bad things, and this goes back like me being a little kid having to lie, and it's like you can't lie to God about what you've done. All is known. You got spirit guides all around you. Everyone knows the things you've done, and there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no judgment, there's no, come on, hurry up, admit it so we can smash you over the head with it. It's like, no, it's just getting to the place of transparency, of shining light. And really all that is an act of courage to overcome your fear, to face your fears. And the fears that you need to overcome is first the negative voice that you have in your head and the experiences that you've had. You've done bad things were done to you. Let's let it go. Let's be free, right? And together, that's how we can do this. That's what we're building here at Results Kill Excuses, is a large worldwide community of like-minded people that want to become the best version of themselves, that are willing to hold each other accountable, not tearing each other down, but literally holding each other accountable. I love you guys so much. I thank you all for tuning in here. Share this message, like it, comment. If you haven't yet, you should get yourself a 1% Better Everyday journal, or just get yourself a t-shirt. Support the brand, right? It's greatly appreciated. It brings me a lot of gratitude to know that y'all are watching, that y'all are listening, and that y'all are doing the work. And I'm doing it right there with you. I'll see you on the next one. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.